This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Alright. Imagine if you bought a wrecked motorcycle, put all of your hard work into it, and then you had to give it to somebody else, a complete stranger. Yeah, I had to do that. And you guys know that I got me a good ride in on it today before it's going on the truck, so of course that had to happen. And we should be able to kind of lock it in place. But, yeah, it's time to get this thing strapped down and we're gonna get it inspected. Now the first thing I had to do was load up the bike, my complete wrecked bike, and then I had to deliver it to this person. All right, people, just like that, she's ready to go. There's a lot of emotions that goes on with building or rebuilding a wrecked bike, but it means absolutely nothing. Even if it's complete and done, it means nothing if you can't get that bike legally registered and back on the street. Even if it's rideable, there's no point if legally it's not supposed to be on the street. It doesn't matter. And before starting this process of rebuilding a wrecked bike, I knew that I had multiple challenges in front of me. One, I had to find the wrecked bike that I want. I had to learn about the wrecked bike that I want. I had to find out how to fund that wrecked bike. I had to find out how to fix that wrecked bike. I had to find parts for that wrecked bike. And also, I had to understand what were the legal requirements for me to take this wrecked bike from a salvaged to a rebuilt state. All of these were different challenges and phases that I had to go through. And when I first decided to do this, I had to do a lot of research. And the first thing I wanted to do was understand, what did I have to do, even if this bike was complete, what did I have to do to get it from salvage to rebuild? So of course I started at my local DMV, made the phone calls, and essentially they told me that I could not legally register and get a wrecked bike inspected if I was not a licensed dealer. Now, this is not what I found out online, but come to find out, in October 2021, my state of Alabama, they changed the law where you cannot be a licensed rebuilder without a dealer's license, because previously I could apply for this license and turn this garage into a rebuilder's garage. All I needed was like a $100 license, I think a bond requirement, and also some insurance, and I would be done. But now they've changed it where you have to be a complete dealer, which means there's more money involved, there's lots involved, there's business zoning requirements. So this garage in a residential neighborhood cannot be, it can't be a place of business to an extent for a car lot. So there's multiple things that are required for me to become a dealer. So obviously this was out of my reach. So I reached out to my local motorcycle dealers that I've done business with prior and said, hey, look, I got this wrecked bike idea, and it's really cool because, for them, they're thinking, why don't you just buy one from us? I was like, well, it's an Indian that I want to do. And I was like, can you guys help me go from salvage to rebuild? And they were like, yeah, nah, we don't do that. And I was like, but you guys are dealers, and dealers have rebuilders licenses. And basically they didn't want to deal with the paperwork of it. I got shot down twice. And this is when I was kind of like, well, shoot, there's no point in me getting this bike if I can't even get it legally on the street. So I did more research, and that's when I found, we're just gonna call him the Wizard of Coleman. And I hit this guy up. I saw the number out on his website, and I was like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me go from salvage to rebuilt? And essentially he said yes. And he gave me the entire rundown on what all was involved and what I needed to do. and also gave me pointers on even buying wrecked vehicles and, helping me understand what it would take to get this thing from the internet page in my doorstep. Because there's so much more involved than people realize when they're buying wrecked bikes or wrecked cars. So we went like this for about a week. And eventually I had the confidence in, later on I finally bought my first wrecked bike, which was that 2022 Indian Chief Dark Horse. Now, as you guys have seen, we've rebuilt that bike, taking it from a completely just messed up state to the point where it's now able to be ridden on the street. But the finish line is taking it from salvage to rebuild. So, I talked to this guy back in February on, the process, and then I hit him up recently in July. So like almost 6 months later and saying, hey, I got this wrecked bike, man. I'm ready to go through the paperwork. And guess what? He hits me up and he's like, okay, let's do it. So what's all involved with this is that when you're, trying to get something inspected through a rebuilder or a dealer, you have to essentially transfer kind of ownership of the bike, and they're working on your behalf to get the bike inspected. So, you might be thinking, well, what if he scams you, or what if he takes it and runs? Well, there is always that possibility, but with this individual, I did my research and everything, my due diligence, and I felt comfortable doing this with this person. So essentially we did the whole paperwork thing via DocuSign, and this is something that this person initiated, so all I had to do was sign it, and I mailed the title to him. And basically what this document says is like, this is a temporary thing, and this person is working on my behalf for the inspection, that that they didn't do any of the work to it, yada yada yada. It's a lot of, well, it's not really a lot, but it's legal lingo involved in this. So that made me more comfortable that we're both signing a legal document. And there's a $90 fee for the inspection. Then I had to pay taxes on the bike, and also I had to pay this person's $400 fee just to get this bike, just to go through this process. And I know you might be thinking $400 to go from salvage to rebuild. Well, you gotta think about it like this too. He probably could charge more because there's not many businesses that will do this process or even go through it or even fool with it. So to me, again, I look at it like he's doing me a favor, because without him, this wouldn't be possible, right? So after mailing the title, the next step was me getting the bike to him. So being that, I work a full-time job, I decided to work with him and said, hey, I'm gonna try to get this bike to you early Saturday morning. Well, everything worked out, I got the U-Haul, got the truck, my uncle's truck, and we drove up to Coleman and we dropped the bike off. But unfortunately, he wasn't there at the time for me to drop the bike off. So it did come off kind of weird, like, I'm on somebody else's property, opening up doors, dropping off motorcycles. It's almost like a drug deal, right? Except it's motorcycles. It's a motorcycle deal. And, he called me and, said, hey, just leave the bike there, lock the door, man, and I'm gonna get it inspected for you. So I literally left this motorcycle in a stranger's garage, hours away from my house, with a motorcycle that I'm on the hook for. And I was just like, oh my God. But I wasn't nervous about it to an extent, but I was just like, look, this is at that point where I feel like I'm more nervous about them not approving the inspection versus something happening with the bike. But either way, that is where the bike is. It is with a complete stranger. That is the Wizard of Coleman that's gonna turn this bike from salvage to rebuild. So hopefully when we get it back, it will be in a street legal state.
All right, folks, so the bike is now at the Wizard of Coleman, and basically he's gonna take this thing from salvage to rebuild. And the actual inspection is on Monday. It is Saturday right now, and I don't have the time to actually get it in the, to bring it up here on Monday. So we're leaving it up here and we're gonna come back and get it. So yeah, we're good to go. There we go. So unfortunately my Wizard agent, he's not here at the moment, but the trustworthiness, I just leave it here and come back and get it. So all right.
Outside, yeah, just outside, man.
So this is...
All right, my people, before we go ahead and meet the Wizard of Coleman, we got to talk about our video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of courses from productivity, business, automotive design, motorcycles, lifestyle management, finance, art. Listen, there's something for everybody. I've been working on my productivity skills lately now that I have 3 essentially wrecked bikes in the garage, except for one. So I gotta stay focused. And wrecked bikes, especially ones with the motors already taken out, it pays to stay on point. So I've been watching this course called Real Productivity, Create Your Ideal Week. And even for me, with a full-time job and somebody that works on bikes in the evenings, any productivity tips and hacks, they help. So since I'm a member of Skillshare, the first 1,000 of you that join this community with me will get a 1-month free trial to their entire catalog. So you can watch this course and anything else that they have. So, I mean, listen, it's free. So if you're interested in learning like me, you can use the link down in the description and get started. And of course, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
Man. So this is the Wizard of Coleman, the guy that made this entire thing happen. So I said in the video, I was like, I didn't even get a chance to meet him or anything, but I was like, he's just gonna be called the Wizard of Coleman.
The Wizard of Coleman. That's awesome.
That's cool. So what's this?
That's the paperwork I emailed you. That's just a duplicate copy of it if you need it for some reason.
So the whole reason we're doing this is because this bike, before he got his hands on it, was a salvage bike, and he is the person that's able to take these bikes or cars and go from salvage to rebuild. So at this point, the bike is street legal, right? So if you guys are in the Alabama area and you need to take a salvage vehicle to a rebuilt vehicle and you want somebody to do it, this person is the person to do it. Alabama
Coleman Auto Rebuilders.
Coleman Auto Rebuilders. Yeah, so guess it's time to get the bike on the truck.
Cool. I didn't know if you were going to ride it back or not.
No.
It's a long way, isn't it?
No, it's not that the bike isn't safe or anything. I just
I
don't know it enough.
Yeah. How many do you have right now?
So I got this one and I got 2 more of these.
2 more of those?
Yeah. That's cool. So I'm going to try to fix them and do the same thing.
Shop for the
Yeah,
tire?
so the one I brought up here the one I actually brought up here on, it didn't have one at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I really want the chalk because all right, folks, we got the bike strapped down better than we did last time. We actually got a wheel chalk on the U-Haul. We got Jonathan over there, aka the Wizard of Coleman. Like I said, without him, this little sticker right here, show that sticker. That little sticker right there, rebuilt vehicle in Alabama, that would not be there. So, we're good to go, folks. All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks again, man.
All right, you have a good one. Just like that, people. The Chief is back in the garage. The big difference right now, compared to earlier, is that it now has a rebuilt sticker on it. My Indian Chief is officially rebuilt, and now it can be registered
Well, technically it's already registered. Now you can get a tag for it. So the whole purpose of this is that whoever gets this bike when I'm done, maybe just riding it for a little bit, they're gonna be able to just take the bike and get a tag for it. So there's absolutely no hunting on figuring out how they're gonna take the bike, salvage, and rebuild. I've already done it, and I know this process for whenever I want to do this again. So yeah, it was a fun process figuring this out, and also meeting the Wizard of Coleman. And yeah, man, that's essentially the process of how we take salvage bikes to rebuild in the state of Alabama. So it's done. So next up is trying to figure out what to do with these other wrecked bikes and getting them fixed. But if you didn't know, I'm actually giving away this Chief very soon to a supporter of the channel. If you haven't already, definitely go over to BrandonBicasso.com, get you a sticker pack, and that will be your entry to win that bike. And as always, thanks for listening to my story. And to catch up on these other bikes, you can click right here to catch up, and also to head over to BrandonBicasso.com, click right there, and go over and get entered. So yeah, if you're subscribed, see you in the next one. Peace.